We sat silent on polyester chairs that, like Velcro, caught on the edges of sharp nails against lacquered crosses, processed with wood finish, and hung upon church walls along inspirational posters laced with Bible verses. We huddled in circles on carpeted floors, reciting them by heart, as if to compete with each other to see who would get to heaven first, and watched worship leaders lift leaden hands into portable ceilings, listening to hollow prayers graven into the muscle memory of the tongue, each word slipping into cynical desperation. And years later, they walked into church services hungover. Habitual prayers, gradually leaving residual holes where the hollow-eyed still breathlessly, voicelessly whisper the same shells of venerated words from long ago. And just like the leaders before us, we leave legacy of the morals we wish we had listened to, if only to lead ourselves to some sort of self-righteous enlightenment before even the title wears out and we are left worthless to our own eyes. Where are the churches for people like us? In the corner of a darkened room somewhere, a high school worship leader loses his virginity to the girl who normally sits in the front row of the congregation. He has told himself that he would stop before this happened, and the back of his mind is reeked with guilt, but she doesn't even care. She's convinced herself that she will never return to the church anyways, and silently they will turn from each other and fall asleep. Clinking bottles, a group of spiteful leaders meet at a party, drinking themselves into blurred mumbling, numb tongues, weeping over how they cannot feel God unless it is within each other, showing weaknesses in shot glasses and holding one another without touching. A Sunday school couple finishes their lessons and gets back to his apartment where, with fists clenched, he leaves bruises on her body, with nothing to comfort her but the words in her mind, "You deserve better." The only action taken by her small group leader manifested in the form of useless advice falling silent. This is the sound of guilt. This is the sound of regret. This is the sound of lines being crossed by broken people, of arms shaking bitterly, holding paperback Bibles containing highlighted lines, reference from PowerPoint slides. It is the sound of Christian radio stations offering flimsy advice flickering off. It is the sound of something deeper. It is the sound of a need for something more than just being called saved. When every night ends in the same mistakes repeated, with the same pain inflicted, it is the sound of self-hatred. And I am looking towards the sky tonight because I'm on my knees knowing that every prayer that I've written, and every poem I ever prayed, and every story I hold in the palms of my imperfect open hands will fall like sand through the cracks in my fingers unless I can muster up the courage to hope. I am listening. I am listening to the sound of weeping prayers, feeling out to God in the space between self-condemning bodies. I am listening to the sound of weeping prayers in drunken stupor, nor noble nor quick tongue, composed in the vocabulary of the third graders they teach. I am listening to the sound of weeping prayers of a strong woman trying to take the first step. I am listening to a God who sees us tenderly, embracing, breaking arbitrary rules our church teachers taught us on stone tablets, holding us gently. I am listening to bodies, learning to love themselves again. I am listening to myself, learning to love others again. I am listening to the sound of hope rising.